How can a psychic medium can help?
We look at past lives. We look at what pertains to this life now. The worst thing we can do is beat ourselves up for, like, why am I so afraid or stressed or angry, or why am I not in inner peace? Well, I don't want to get into religion, but a lot of religions have the understanding of karma, that we are souls that go on forever. It was even in Christian and Catholic, but they took it out of the Bible. We have been fooled or programmed or tricked into believing that we are powerless, that we are victims.
Do people realize that, yeah, something is changing?
Everyone must have their heart broken here on earth. That's just part of at least
Yeah.
once. If we've been abused or hurt, we close the heart, people usually cry because you're letting go of that pain. So that's one way that awakening can come. The other way is that people start to see numbers. They say,
11,
I've been seeing 1111. So these are your guides, your higher self. Married my true love. We had a house. We had some kids. We were starting a business. Everything was great. And I was just going to bake pies and be a mom. And everything started falling apart. He left. The business went bankrupt. I lost my home. One day when I was at work, he came with his new girlfriend and took all the furniture. They even took the dishes. I didn't have anything. Years later, went back and I was sitting there and meditating about something else. And I looked up and this guide spoke to me and the water turned red and gave me a message that I needed to hear at that time.
Welcome, beautiful souls, to another illuminating episode of our spiritual podcast, where the ancient wisdom meets the modern insights. Today, I have this honor of welcoming Sibyl ma'am, America's renowned psychic, intuitive medium, and energy healer. Known for her profound gifts and heart-centered healing work, Sibyl brings lot of clarity, calm, and deep transformation to thousands of people in the United States of America and around the world. In this episode, we are diving deep into some of the very practical ways by which you can raise your personal vibration. How can you protect yourself from negative energy? And also, we are going to explore the real meaning of being spiritually awakened in this today's chaotic high speed world. So whether you are just beginning your spiritual journey or you deep into your path already, this conversation is packed with some grounded guidance, energy shifting tools, and some of the intuitive truths that you may don't want to miss this. Take a deep breath, align your heart, and let's raise the frequency together. Before that, if you're new to the channel, please click the subscribe button and click the like button. Let us know that you support our work and you are watching this podcast. Let's start it.
Thank you so much for joining in today's podcast, Sibyl. How are you doing today?
Wonderful, amazing. So good to be here with you. I'm very excited.
Great, great. I have seen a lot of your podcast on YouTube and, you know, gone through a lot, and you have worked a lot towards humanity, energy, and spirituality. So it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on our channel, on our podcast, and I'm sure all our viewers are going to learn a lot and understand a lot about the energies and about your experiences. So I'm so glad to have you over here today.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm
Great.
delighted.
Yeah. So firstly, I would like to start with a very quick, sweet question that I have heard that there are certain meaning related to your name, Sibyl. So what does Sibyl as meaning? What is the meaning of Sibyl?
Oh, Sibyl is actually a title. I always thought my name should be Charlotte or something, but I understood my father picked that name for all of our names have a spiritual meaning, and it behooves us to go and find out what that is because it's connected to our karma, our history, it is how we connect with our spirit, our energy in this lifetime anyway. But Sibyls were like the doctor, the nurse, the psychiatrist, your all around assistant in the ancient time of the goddess, which there isn't much writing about. A lot of the writing has been destroyed and lost about our ancient world. But there used to be, instead of a church everywhere, there was a Sibyl temple, or there were Sibyl caves, and you would go to the Sibyl for assistance. And I have been to the site at Delphi where they had the seven Sibyls, and I remember past lives as Sibyl, there's a connection and I took me as we come into this life, I forgot, as we're born, we forget who we are as a soul. And we usually, learn how to walk and talk and write and, go to school or have relationships, learn how to drive a car. We do, have a career training and education. But then there comes that point at some point where we start going, who am I? And why am I here? And that's where I went on the Sibyl journey, or you'll go on your own journey of
Great.
awakening and who am I and what, and what is this all about anyway,
This
But
makes so sense. And that is absolutely right. Every name, every single name we have certain vibration, certain energy, some meaning to it. And we get certain name by our parents because parents
Mhm.
keep our name or family keeps our name. So there are certain vibrations or energies which are attached to every single name.
Correct.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
name is important. Name have a lot of spiritual meaning attached to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So absolutely, I wanted to ask, like one of my first question for the day would be, you have such an immense experience in psychic mediumship. So a very basic question that how can a psychic energy or mediumship can help humanity or help common people like us in guiding about our life where today we are going through a lot in this life. So how can psychic energies or psychic readings or mediumship help people, please?
Okay. Great question. So, I consider myself to be more of an intuitive or a clairvoyant. I'm also a healer or a teacher. But the typical when you say psychic, there's conjure crystal balls or something. So I'm not typically that type of psychic where tells you what's going to happen because we have free will. We're always creating it. Now,
Mhm.
astrology, which you do, gives you a path, a map of who you are and what are the energies you're dealing with and where you're going. But in intuitive reading or healing or looking at what I do is further assist people in helping knowing who they are as a spirit, as energy. We look at past lives, we look at what were you learning and what are you learning, what pertains to this life now, what past lives. Because usually people are learning a lesson or a pattern through many lifetimes. And once it's been learned, then their life changes. In this life, we are going through a huge awakening, a shift, awakening of consciousness. So I assist people now. A lot of what I'm doing is helping people to let go of the old patterns of
Mhm.
heaviness that
Yeah.
you're not good enough, all the programming we've had that you're not good enough or you can't do it or you're a victim or you have to control or manipulate, you can never get ahead or you can never get happy or you can never get enough. I've had like everything, or I've known people who have had everything, who've been very wealthy. You have to climb the success ladder, you have to get good grades and and get all, have all these things, and they're not happy.
Right. That
Or
absolutely makes sense because, as you mentioned, the past life karma do have impact in this life. Our entire Vedic astrology is based on this concept of karma, wherein we believe that our past life has certain influence on this life, which means whatever deeds or whatever things which we did in our past life, karma, have to fulfill in this life, and whatever we do in this life have to fulfill in the next coming few lives. So the cycle of this birth, death is based on the foundation, on the principle of karma. So that is
yes,
very significant point which we are
yes.
discussing today. What does it mean to be truly a spiritual awake soul in this chaotic world today? What do you feel that can
Yeah.
we be spiritually awake ourselves? Is it easy or difficult process?
Let me back up a little bit with the other question is that I help people tune into their frequency of who they are. we're taught about positive thought and do affirmations and spirituality. And that is very helpful. That's a very helpful tool to shift your energy and to heal yourself and to heal, physically, emotionally. Yeah. So but what we really want to tune into is our frequency, our vibration. So I've had people say to me, yeah, I did affirmations. It didn't work. Because what we want to do, or I tried positive thinking and nothing happened. Okay. So what we want to do is tune into our frequency. We are energy vibrating in this aura. And I look at the chakras and the energy and our presence. So when we talk about the moment of now, or our vibration, how we're thinking, how we're feeling, that's in our energy field.
Is it possible to spiritually awaken very easily in this chaotic world where those
right.
is
Yeah.
happening around us?
Yeah.
So things are happening around us in our city, in our country, in the world. So how to spiritually awaken easily?
Yeah, easily.
Not easy.
That's
There's
funny.
nothing easy in the world, but
Well, we need to have a sense of humor. That's funny. Easily.
of course, there's
Okay.
nothing easy or nothing free in the world. We have
Well,
to.
we can make it easy. We can make it fun. We
Yeah.
can stop struggling and stop trying to think that there's something wrong with you and that you need to get rid of the people or the things or whatever, get rid of you and make a new you. There's nothing wrong with you. We are, as we adjust to, or shift, allow would be the right word, the energy that is shifting and changing us, then, and understand that we are living in a time of chaos. That's just because the old world is falling apart. The old paradigms are falling apart, and they're supposed to. Yeah. Even if we don't like that, or we're angry at certain people for doing that, in some way, they're helping us to end this old paradigm. But it's like when you go into an old abandoned house and you turn on the light, you see all the critters and the bugaboos, whatever, run and scatter. That's what we're seeing now. We're seeing all the shadows, all the darkness, all the chaos, and our fears, or our they're not wrong, but they're coming up so that we can come into balance, come into 5D, which is aligning yourself with your higher self, and clearing and letting go of your karma so that you can be at peace. You are the point in the storm, the peace. What is that? The inside of the storm where it's at peace, because all this is not going to stop being chaotic or crazy anytime soon. I mean, astrology will tell us at some points, there are points when the energy will shift. But right now, how do you be at peace and thrive and have harmony in a world that is out of balance and chaotic by allowing and recognizing that it's supposed to be that way? Because it's like the other metaphor would be going through a birthing canal. We are birthing a new earth. And so the more which is chaotic, painful, violent, it could be scary birth, but we are birthing a new, which we can tune into the new energy that's coming. And that's how we, allowing, okay, this is happening, because you can't control what's going on outside you. You can affect it.
Yeah.
You can show up for what you want to show up for. But as we embody that energy, the more of us embody that we're grounded in this kind of very exciting energy that we're in, this new time, this new birth, this new beginning. I mean, this is a time in history that we've never been through before. But as we embody that, the more of us that do, we are points of light in this world. The more points of light, the more we shift our consciousness by doing astrology, by understanding, by we're doing, being in our spiritual purpose of believing that we're good enough and that we are, and calling in peace and calling in our good for us, we help lift everyone else up. We help shift the
True.
vibration of the
We
planet.
have to shift the vibration of the world
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
people for sure. And that's why we need intuitive and healers like yourself who can really shift the vibrations, help people to understand and balance their emotionality. And the biggest problem of this year is emotional imbalance, and that's causing a lot of inner chaotic things. And as you have rightly said, that peace and the inner peace is the it's one of the very important thing, because we have two worlds. One is the outer world, which is chaotic, and as of today many people have this inner world which is also chaotic. If we
Yeah.
somehow heal this ourselves, our inner world, through your guidance, through your healings, that would be the start of soul awakening and peace.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And I love that. And then also recognizing that sometimes it's okay too if we don't feel good, if we don't feel at peace. Like the worst thing we can do is beat ourselves up for, like, why am I so afraid or stressed or angry, or why am I not in inner peace, like Sibyl said, because it's if you're not feeling good, then we don't want to beat ourselves up. That it's okay if we're having these feelings come up, and think of it as they're coming up to awareness, to consciousness,
True,
that
true.
it's okay if I don't feel good. And then sometimes if we just by recognizing that, oh, okay, then it helps to transmute or shift that, or we can be okay. We don't have to be a victim to our own ego or negativity or whatever. We can recognize it and love those parts of ourselves that are like, wow, I'm really feeling angry right now. And do I need to do an action? Do I need to set a boundary, or do I need to, breathe through it, or say a prayer, or get some assistance? What is, having that conscious awareness of, like, okay, here's how I'm feeling, and here's my frequency, or here's my thought that is with my belief that is with that. And what is the karma connected to that? How is this?
Yeah.
Many of us have had past lives, even on other planets, or in this world, where our government was not either at war or hurting people, kind of like we have a lot of situations here now. And I
Wow.
really feel for the Canadians. I'm like, I love you guys, and I'm so sorry. Your country's going to be fine. It's just a lot of
I think everything will be fine. I have seen the birth chart of Donald Trump this morning. I was going through his chart, his planetary energies, and
uh-huh.
we just had our new prime minister in Canada, Mark Carney, who was elected or re-elected uh, 2 days back. So there is certainly a lot of shifts which are happening in America as well as in Canada, North America side. So it's going to be interesting to see how things shape up in the world in next 6 months.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. But I feel like we're gonna be okay. You're
Yeah.
gonna your country is solid, it's good, and a lot of our country is supporting you, and that's
That
just
is
a lot of.
such a kindness. And it says that, there are still some people who don't have good motive, but there are many people in the world, in America, who still have very good kindness, good emotions, and good humanity. And it is visible. I speak with a lot of my American friends, my family in the United States, and they are so kind, so humble, and so good friends with everyone and with us. So it's so good to see such great gestures coming in.
Yeah, most people are good if they know the truth, if they're getting the right information, are good people. They're just, they don't want wars, they don't want financial disturbances and chaos. But
Yeah, this
so-
always happens that if we have 10 people in a group and this one person or two-person who is not good, it's gonna make the environment go bad. And
yeah,
even if the 8% are good, like 80-90% people are great, but it just need that 1% or that 1%, 1% can really break the energy.
yeah. But they're also helping us in some strange way to wake up to all the darkness that has been on this planet for millennia of wars and illness and poverty and negative karma. Which I love Vedic astrology, and most well, I don't want to get into religion, but a lot of religions have the understanding of karma, that we are souls that go on forever. It was even in Christian and Catholic, but they took it out of the Bible.
Mhm.
So we have been fooled or programmed or tricked into believing that we are powerless, that we are victims, that we just have to go, we don't know what's going on, we just have to go along with it, and none of that is true. That is part of what the awakening that we're going through, and that's why they don't want you to wake up. They want just put up with it, or no, that's not true. We are good enough. We are intelligent. We are wise. We are a spirit that have been, God or goddess, whatever you want to
That's
call it,
what many
is inside
religions
of us.
believe
We
in.
are all
That's what
that.
the Vedic astrology believe in, that God is within us. Temple is the place where the Hindu or the Hindu religion, they go pray for, look up to God and pray. So temple in our language means mandir, and man means like our heart, our inner world, and there means inside. So mandir or temple means that the God is living inside us and we are seeking God outside. No, you have to see the God inside you, and you have to seek the God in other people. Only then you will find the God. They say that how to find a God. You can, but you have to see God in every human being. Only then it's possible. In
Right.
this brutal world wherein people are trying to pull each other, have jealousy or negative energy towards each other, they will never find God. Even if they are going to temple every single day, it's not worth it. But if you treat everyone equally, show that humanity, that kindness, and see God in every single human being, there is a possibility that one day God will show up. But this is not practiced on a large scale, and that's how
Yeah.
the world is going on.
Yeah. I
Not
love that.
easy.
Yeah, America is like, get ahead, climb the ladder, dog eat dog, doesn't matter. You gotta, and it's become messages, the mainstream media is part of the mass unconsciousness, unfortunately. Some of it a little better than others, but yeah, it's very cruel. That is a world that we're moving away from, that most people don't want. When they wake up, they realize, and that's why this shift and awakening is happening.
When the shift happens, when we spiritually get awakened, what are your experiences with yourself or your people or your clients, that when the shift happens, do people realize that yeah, something is changing?
There's a lot of answers here. That's a lot to
I know
unpack.
it's a
Okay,
lot. There are a
so
lot of signs also.
okay,
Spiritual
so
awakening signs happening around us. So
okay, so for most people, I'll explain about what their awakening is. For if you are a shaman or a healer, or you're someone in public service like yourself, and this may not be true for you because everyone is different, but for me and my astrological chart, my awakening was very intense. And that's kind of why I came here, to experience this shift so that I could go through that. Most people, they start with opening their heart, the
Mhm.
heart chakra.
Yeah.
And if the heart chakra is closed, it may be because they were hurt, and everyone must have their heart broken here on earth. That's just part of at least
Yeah.
once, at least
Yeah.
once. That's part of
Absolutely.
the growing up on the love planet. That just happens.
More
Okay, so
than
I didn't
more than
make the
once for
rules.
sure.
Sorry, but So if we've been abused or hurt, we close the heart, and then we are in fear, or we can't really love ourselves. Most people experience the awakening as a heart opening, and they might say, if they open their heart or let go of the pain of the past or whatever, whatever happened, doesn't mean that what people did to them was okay. It just means that I'm not going to carry around the pain anymore, that I want to come into the moment of now, into my presence and my frequency, and I want to let go of that. So when you open that, or you do your family of origin work, people usually cry. They're like, I've been crying for 2 days, because you're letting go of that pain. Okay. So that's one way that awakening can come. The other way is that people start to see numbers. They say,
11,
I've been seeing 1111 or 12. So these are your guides, your higher self coming in and showing you there's something else going on here. People start to remember their dreams, or have, these spiritual, especially if they're asking and you're ready to ask that question, who am I and why am I here? Those are the questions. When you start to ask those, you're going into like, what is this all about anyway? Then you're going into an awakening process. And it can just feel like really happy and connected and synchronistic for some people. Like I'm seeing birds are coming close. I'm seeing the flower. I'm smelling the colors are brighter. They may start to pray or meditate, which is meditation is an excellent way. Foundation of prayer is good too. Yeah. But those are your foundations to develop spiritually. So you may start to feel like, I'm getting messages. I'm getting, this thing happened. I saw a bumper sticker. I heard a song and I got a chill. I was thinking about this person. So you're starting to have synchronistic events. You're starting to come into the world of your spirit, your energy, your frequency. You may think of like, why am I feeling this way? You may want to change your diet. You may want to let go of some of the toxic things, let go of this fear, or change my thoughts, or like I said, do positive thinking or affirmations. So there are many ways. Some people do yoga, qigong, art, but it's also just a way of being. So these are all ways that people start awakening. And then it can also have body symptoms, trouble sleeping, digestive issues,
health issues.
So yeah, health issues will come up.
Financial issues sometimes.
Yeah, you may, it can be triggered when a relationship ends, a job ends.
No, that's absolutely right. Job ends. I can connect with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I had that where everything fell apart. It was right before 2012. And I ended up writing my book about this. I wrote a book, married my true love. We had a house. We had some kids. We were starting a business. Everything was great. And I was just going to bake pies and be a mom. And I was delighted. And everything started falling apart. He left. The business went bankrupt. I lost my home. Luckily, my mother helped me rent this farmhouse over here. One day when I was at work, he came with his new girlfriend and took all the furniture. They even took the dishes. I didn't have anything. So I had to give one dog away because the new rental only allowed one dog. So I was sitting there with paper plates and one dog, my heart broken. I decided I could be bitter or I could be better. Because at first I was like, God, why did you ruin my life? Why did you, forsake me? I felt like Jesus on the cross. Someone actually called me up, said, what are you, Jesus on the cross? Because I was just suffering. And I thought, I'm going to cry every day for a year, and then I'm going to be done with this. I'm going to let this go, and I'm not going to get bitter. I'm going to get better. And so I really dove into my spirituality, because that was right around before that happened. Yeah. So I knew something was wrong, but I started asking, like, why am I here? What is happiness? How can I be happy? Happiness, all the outside things come and go. Yeah. But when you're on your path, then I got on my path. I'm like, what is alignment? What is is the will of my higher self, and how do I align with the martial artists have a line that goes through your body. And I talk about that in my energy healing book, the grounding and the connection, the central channel, the sushma. And how do I align with that? And how do I get back to my peace and happiness? And now I'm happy whether it's out, what doesn't matter what the outside is. I still have feelings. I'm still, but I have this inner joy. And when you meditate and you're awakening, you go through initiations, spirits will show up. I used to I started to meditate. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I started to meditate, and I went to a teacher, and they said, well, showed me how to do it. And everybody else in the class was like, I'm seeing angels. There's lights coming, and I was lifted to euphoria and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't see anything in here. I'm like, it's dark in here. I don't see any of that. Like, why isn't this working? And they said, just keep showing up and keep doing the right thing. And that's a good spiritual message for everybody. When your life isn't working, keep showing up and keep doing the next right thing. I sit there, and then I started going like this. I'm like, what's happening? My body, I look like a crazy person in a mental hospital. My body was going like this. I'm like, okay, what? And they said, well, you're releasing stress. You need to do that. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll get a big message. I'll go sit on the beach because the water will open up my psychic abilities. And I go sit on the beach. I found a place to meditate, and I'm sitting there, and I look down, and there's an old shoe, and I'm like, was that there before? Is that like a message that, on my path or something? And I'm like, so years later, I went back, but I started feeling connected and opening up. But I, years later, went back, and I was sitting there and meditating about something else. And I looked up, and this guide spoke to me, and the water turned red. And I was like, and gave me a message that I needed to hear at that time. But anyway, that
Awesome.
which
So what
was
I
another
understand is
karmic relationship message.
I do understand that there are certain signs and certain things by which you can move towards the spiritual awakening. Number one is meditation. What I feel is, yes, meditation is absolutely a greatest tool to tap into the spiritual awakening energy. However, meditation at the right place and the right time is important. For you, meditating in the studio with 20 other people didn't work. But when you meditated on the beach by yourself, that really opened up. That gave you that old message, and the water really opened up. So, right place, right time. Some people, the right place is beach. For some people, the right place is woods. For some people, the right place is nature. Or for some people, the right place is just at home. And time, full moon day, new moon day, the moon cycles going in a month. There are specific days in a month when you meditate, it goes 10 times more faster than a normal day.
Yeah. And probably because I was still in bad relationship, I wasn't having a good connect. I wasn't the right time, the right astrological time, but I kept showing up and I kept doing it. And I think that goes back to trusting yourself, tuning in and trusting your own intuition, like what feels right for the right place for me to meditate. Because we really know. It's just a matter of practicing of how to tune in to, this feels like, okay, it feels better when I meditate. I just feel like I need to meditate at home. I just got that sense that I need to go to the beach. And the first time it didn't work so well, but I just did it again. At the next time, the moon must have been right astrology time or whatever, because the next time I went, and part of that is to endure and not to give up. When things are hard, when you feel like, how is this going to work? I lost my business, my wife, whatever, my husband is gone, and I don't know how I'm going to do this. And that's when I would that is an awakening or dark night of the soul that is transforming you. And so what do we do in that? Keep showing up, keep doing the next right thing, maybe take a break, get a reading or go to get some assistance, but it happens inside of us. And I ran around, well, someone help me. I want everyone to help me. And I was like, I need it. And I realized that my inner child in my family was abandoned, and I had kind of this victim energy. And like I had to stop all that. And I get assistance from others, but I know that the job happens inside of me, and that trusting my intuition, like, is this the right place to meditate? How does that feel? And listening to that higher self or your guides or that voice that makes sense, that quiet, humble voice, as you say, that makes sense, will help to guide us to our awakening and through our awakening. This is not an easy planet. This is not an easy. Some
Very
people are like,
planet.
oh, it's great. I did an awakening yesterday, and I'm like, that's great. I love that. That was not my experience.
That's right. That's actually a good point. Earth is not an easy place to adjust our soul energies and live easily. You have to work towards that. And specifically on Earth, if you're living in Canada or United States of America, then you have to work more towards, live and spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
There's so much to discuss about spiritual awakening. One quick question which comes up is certainly when we make our energies more positive and we have maintained that positive energy of ours, but still there are negative energies around us or negative people around us. How to protect ourselves from your perspective?
How to protect your energy?
How to protect our energy from negative energy?
Yeah. Well, notice how you feel around certain people. And when I have ideas, like I'm going to start a new project or write a new book or do a new program or something, I don't tell people, not because they're bad, but jealousy and envy are some people, even well-meaning family members and your friends, it can help them feel like, well, you might change and then you won't be here for me. Or if you're successful, I'll feel bad. But they don't consciously think that, but they may just say, oh, that's never going to work, or why would you do that? Or you don't know what you're doing, or things like that. So be careful when little slights to interrupt your confidence and you want to be around people who are going to encourage you, maybe be practical and realistic, but who will encourage you and support you in moving forward and doing what you want to do and feeling good. And some people, just either because they're very controlling or very needy, can kind of drain you. And if you're trying to help everyone and be a good person and awaken and have your heart open, you are really open to. Some people come to see me. I'm like, your heart chakra is this big. I'm like, no wonder you're just absorbing everybody's stuff like a giant sponge. And there was a lady who wrote a book in the 80s about dying to be me, where she ended up getting cancer and being sick and almost dying and going to the other side. And they told her, you have to go back and learn how to set boundaries and share that message with people. So we have to, if we want to feel better, set boundaries, not only verbal or physical, like I'll spend this much time with you, but we don't need to be in agreement with everybody. Or even, our energy boundary. Take good care of our energy. And as you set boundaries, you'll start to feel better. Doesn't mean you need to get everybody out of your life or end your relationships. Maybe you do. Maybe if they're toxic and you can't you don't set the boundaries, you're not. But so setting boundaries. And then there are things that you can do that I like. One of my favorites is to take a salt bath with a cup or more of sea salt. Soak in a warm bath. If it's hot, you'll be tired afterwards. Maybe you want to go to bed. But warm water, soak for 20 minutes or more, and then rinse it all off. Done. So that will help to shift your energy. I burn Palo Santo, which is sustainable wood grown in South America. You can learn how to sage. There's videos on saging your home, saging yourself. You can wear crystals. I have like the black tourmaline, which is excellent for clearing anxiety or lower energies. There's a bigger one. Wow. And then, so there's citrine is good for that.
Citrine, okay. I love citrine.
Yeah. Now the citrine you don't need to cleanse. Black tourmaline needs to go out in the moonlight, a
Yeah,
full
exactly.
moonlight, or 4 hours of sunlight to clear. Some people like amethyst. Rose quartz will open the heart
Heart
chakra more.
chakra. Yeah.
Yeah. But also grounding, being in nature, walking in nature, and doing breathing exercises. Learn how to breathe through your nose. It will calm you. And we can do that if you want a little breathing meditation exercise to kind of let's give ourselves a tune-up. Let's just like you wash the windows on a house every once in a while, or you vacuum it out. You got to clean out all the old stuff, because that energy we're living in energy soup. And if everybody else is stressed out and then you start to feel stressed out, then it's like, so sometimes we just need to clear it all out on a frequency level, and then we can feel better. Certainly, doing your daily meditation and your prayer is going to support you as well.
These are so great points, and I'm sure all the viewers are going to 100% agree and try to do these things, implement these things in the life to make to raise the vibrations and get more towards spiritual awakening and protect themselves from negative energy. That is more important, to protect ourselves, our family, and everyone. And you have rightly said that we don't need big social circles, many friends. Sometimes it's good to say no. Sometimes it's good to eradicate some people out of our social circle to protect ourselves, to make because not everyone is thinking the best for you. Some people might not
They'll drain you, ruin your life.
drain the
Yeah.
energy, and yeah, exactly. So we have to understand that. We have to try to understand that. That's where the spirituality helps us. That's where the people like you can help us to heal our body, our mind, our soul, our emotions. So healing is like 100% important.
Yeah, I had this family. Some of my family members are mega, and especially the mother-in-law. She did not like me because I was posting some things on social media her daughter died. My daughter-in-law died, and I went to the funeral, and they threw the ashes off the side of the boat, and I could tell they didn't like me, but I showed up. I'm gonna show up for my grandchildren, and she was spreading the ashes off the boat, and she was leaning over the boat crying, and I'm like, she's gonna fall off the boat, and I grabbed onto her, and I'm like, I got you, and the boat's rocking, and the wind is blowing, and the ashes are going all over. I'm like, I got you. And she was crying, and I was holding on to her. So we also want to have mercy and compassion for people and show up. And it's really can be hard to show up and do the right thing when other people are being hateful or angry or, telling you you're not good enough or whatever it is. Even if it's little messages like, I don't think you can do it. I'm like, what? What did you say? Oh, nothing, I know that you just trust yourself. If you keep getting these like little messages or big messages, like I hate you and I'm unfriending you, but I can still show up for them. But how do I show up? And so this can be very hard. And I've had this you can have relationships, even, that just drain you. I end up going to lunch with somebody. I have to go home and go to bed and take a nap for 2 hours, and I can't think right. Because this person just has drama and chaos. And I finally had to said, I can't do this. I'm not going to ruin my, because we want to help, we want to be kind, and we want to be loving, but we have to be strong and say, you're not helping someone to help them to drain you or abuse you.
Yeah.
So this is a very powerful and energy dynamic too. When you shift and you stop saying, no, you need to start doing your own work. It can't be, I always tell people, other people's problems cannot be your problems because they aren't your problems. They can't be your problem. Stop taking on other people's problems. They need to do their own work. And that's what I did for years as a healer. I went around and tried to fix everybody and tell them I knew what they needed to do. And I was going to do it for them, whether they wanted me to or not. And I found out that's not a good idea. It's exhausting, and they
Yeah.
didn't change. They didn't change.
Great.
They just got mad at me when I stopped doing everything for them, but I was exhausted. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. Set the boundaries.
Yes, it's important to set the
Yeah.
boundaries, eradicate some people, add some positive people in your life, eradicate or minus that negative people from your life and move forward.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, there's always so much to talk about spirituality and energy. And I think we would certainly need more podcasts, more sessions to understand. But we'll keep our session, our podcast here. And it was such great topics which we discussed today. And I'm sure viewers are going to really love the perspective from mediums or psychics or, intuitive or Reiki or energy healers perspective. So that's going to be great. But
Yeah.
I really, thank you so much for, joining us
Yeah.
today.
And I'm sending love and healing and good vibration to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sibyl. And we'll connect very soon in another new podcast for sure.
Wow, what a powerful exchange of energy and insights. Thank you so much, Sibyl, for sharing your divine gifts and reminding us that the true spiritual awakening isn't just about escaping the world, it's about learning how to stay present, stay protected, and stay powerful in our own mindsets. So, remember, your vibration is your signature. Every thought, every word, every action, reaction either expands or contracts your energy. Choose love, choose alignment, and choose to raise your life. In this episode, if this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need a reminder that they are also there, they are also very special, and they have some special powers to really manifest, protect, and evolve. All right, hit the like button of this video, and until next time, stay radiant, stay rooted, stay spiritually awakened. I'll see you in the next episode, in the next video. Take care.